Okay, here it is, the last chapter of the book, Red Kayak, chapter 28. A for sale sign appeared at the end of the D'Angelo's driveway a few days later. We'd already heard that they moved out. At least they were together, I thought. They were living in Virginia, someone told Mom at work. She also found out that Mrs. D'Angelo would have a baby girl in December. I still ride my bike by their place once in a while. You can't see the house from the road, of course, but I met a real estate guy coming out of the driveway one day in a black BMW. He stopped to put down his window and say hi. I asked him, did he have a buyer yet? And he said no. So I asked him how the garden was doing, the one by the pool with the rocks and everything. He smirked. No garden there anymore. I had a terrible vision then of Mrs. D'Angelo angrily ripping up the butterfly bush and the flowers I'd planted and heaving them all over the fence. She took it with her, he laughed. Dug up all those plants, that big purple one, the stones, everything. She did? I guess my mouth hung open after I asked the question. Weird, huh? The guy asked me. I mean, why not just plant another one? I'll tell you, I see a lot of strange things, but no, I stopped him. It's not weird. See, it was a butterfly garden. Last spring we planted it. I should have known he wouldn't understand. But before I even had a chance to explain, the guy was buzzing his window up. Like I said earlier, it's fall now, and high school has started. I do my homework and dribble the basketball around. I walk over to the river's edge with Tilly. In fact, on my way there just recently, I noticed how the path JT and I had tramped down through the soybean field was mostly grown in now, and yet you could still see it, a narrow sandy line between my house and his. I think a lot about JT and Digger. I wonder if they're actually cutting down trees and sleeping in tents at that forestry camp. I wonder if it's cold at night and whether the bugs are bad and what the food is like and how much they've changed. I don't suppose we'll ever hear from them again, but Mom says otherwise. Maybe. One day after school, over at the Food Lion in Centerville, I ran into Kate, and she said that JT was going to write to me. She said he was doing okay, that her dad was still waiting for a new kidney, but that her mom had hired some help at the farm. Kate's hair was up in little braids that were tied with green and white ribbons, my old middle school colors. She had her field hockey uniform on and a bag of hamburger rolls in her hand. I wanted to ask her more, but Kate said, well, she probably ought to get going. I said, me too. She looked back, though. When Kate walked off, she looked back. Dad's still crabbing, but only every other day. Been a bumper crop of crabs these past couple weeks, but it's only because the crabs are on the move now, before winter sets in. Dad lined himself up a good bit of carpentry work for the winter and started in on it early. Still, he says, he'll haul out those crab pots again in the spring. I can only hope that I will too. Evenings, Dad and I are building us a boat. A little day sailor. We drew up the plans on the kitchen table, then hammered the frames together and laid the keel last night. When it's done, we're going to name it from my mother. She doesn't know it yet. And call it either the Miss D or the Miss Delight. I don't know, probably not the latter. Dad said that made her sound like a porno star or something. He really had me laughing over that one. I'm sure it'll take us all winter to finish the project, but I could look forward to the day we catch our first breeze and go sailing down the Corsica. With any luck, I'll bet we could sail that little boat all the way down to Queenstown and back in one afternoon. And there you have it, folks. That's the end of the book. If you enjoyed Red Kayak, please make sure to check out the rest of the books in the series.